All right, where are we? Well, take a look at your TV. That's a pig, and it's got spots, so this must be the Spotted Pig. The corner of West 11th and Greenwich Street in my part of New York City now, the Far West Village. When this place opened, I'm not a mean-spirited guy, but, there was so much hype behind this. I mean, Mario was involved, and it was the first gastropub in New York City. Got tons and tons of press, and it was packed from the get-go. And I guess I had a chip on my shoulder. I just didn't want to like this place. So I'd come, and they don't take reservations. And that was part of the problem. I'd come, and you'd have to wait in line, and it's busy. So you'd wait for 30, 40 minutes, and you'd get in there, and the place is full of good-looking, skinny kids with their hair just so and the tattoos. And I'm thinking, ah. But then I'd sit down, and I'd order the food, and I'd say, show me. And it was always great. Great. I mean, uniformly. I've never had a bad dish here, and I've eaten here a dozen times. I've eaten up and down the menu, lunch, dinner, you name it. I just came to love this place. So we're going to spend a day with April Bloomfield, the chef behind this, who cooks, a chef that still cooks. Her crew, she'll do a little demo for us at the end, and we're going to find out what makes a Spotted Pig tick. Yeah, this is one of my favorite restaurants in New York City. I'm glad it's here, and by the time you watch the show, you'll probably want to wait in line, too.
Can you pick some nice salad out, Matty? This is the crispy pig's ear. Crispy pig's ear, slow cooked in pork fat, just deep fried with some bitter leaves and some lemon and caper dressing.
We're here at the Spotted Pig with Chef April Bloomfield. Thanks for having us in.
It's a pleasure.
I set this piece up outside, and I'll confess to you that this was a restaurant that initially I kind of wanted to hate the place because you guys got so much great pre-advanced press. Mario's involved, and it's this great story, and it's the first British gastropub and all this. And I'm not a big fan of hype. And then I come, and you don't take reservations, which always drives me crazy. I'd say a lot of people are doing that now. So I'm waiting, and then I go downstairs, and everyone's like young and cute and noisy. It's like I walked into the party, and I'm like the chaperone or something. Hey, kids. So I sat down, usually at this table right here, and I would sit down, and 4 or 5 visits, and 3/4 way through the menu, I never had a dish that wasn't anything less than spectacular.
Well, it's very nice when you say that.
No, so I'm a huge fan. Tell us your story, because you didn't wake up at 11 and say I want to be a chef.
Not at all. I didn't know what I wanted to be until I was probably 13, 14, and I was just finishing my GCSEs, and I was just turning 16, and I applied for a cadet scheme that they have where I was born. It's a city in England called Birmingham. It's the second biggest city. And so I applied. My application form was a little late, so they kindly sent me a letter back saying maybe you could reapply when you're 18. So my mom kind of sat me down, was like, look, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know. And at that moment, I think my sister walked in, and she had her old chef whites on. She'd just finished a job. She had just finished 2 years at catering school. And I kind of looked at her and went, well, I've always said I didn't want to cook, because all they used to do was talk about food, and they always used to burn stuff and bring it back and, think it was delicious. Anyway.
British cookery.
Yeah, exactly. And it all used to taste the same, whether it was a sausage or a cake. It all tasted like fat anyway, but burnt fat. And so, I kind of looked at my sister and went, maybe I'll cook. This is a faggot, which is just means bundle. It's got some braised pig cheek with some pig's liver and some crispy fried pig's ears on top, with a little sauce that the pig's cheek and the liver's cooked in. So it's really kind of irony and delicious.
Oh, quail.
Yeah, so this is a quail dish that we do that's just pan fried till it's lightly caramelized. And we kind of toss some crevice, some arugula with some pomegranates, and then some cooked crevice, so it kind of layers the flavors. You get a little sweet from the cooked and a little bitter from the raw. And then just a little Parmesan dressing with a little balsamic. So no butter, just a little olive oil. And then halfway through we'll add some crevice and then just plate it.
So when did you decide to come to the States? What drew you here? How did we get so lucky?
Somebody got offered a job and didn't want it, and so they offered it to me, and I was very blasé, and I was like, yeah, you get them to call me, because I was looking to move on. I'd reached my pinnacle at the River Cafe, And
The River Cafe over there.
River
Yeah.
Cafe in London.
Right.
Like a week later, I got a call from my business partner, Ken Friedman. He flew me over for a jet set weekend in New York City. I think I had like 4 meals in one day, and my stomach's a little like a sparrow, but because I work so much. I just had a great time, and I think Ken really liked me, and that's when I met Mario Batali. I met him at Pearl Oyster Bar.
Lemon juice again, okay.
And so apparently while I wasn't looking, Mario gave me the thumbs up. And,
They started really to consume meals before that?
I think he looked at, I don't know, I think he looked at the burns on my arm and was like, well, at least she's got balls or whatever. We're playing in 21, okay?
So what did you have in mind putting together the menu? Was there a model for this? I mean, I don't know. I'm not British. But is there a gastro pub thing that I should have known about that was a template?
Yeah, there's gastro pubs. They kind of started in 1990, 1991. And it was just started by people that couldn't really afford a big restaurant, didn't want to spend a lot of money. So they used to gut very rundown bars that used to see old men smoking, fag holes on the floor, and they just kind of used to rip up the carpet because it used to get a bit smelly, and kind of paint the walls, and just put a chef in there that was passionate about food, and that's how it started, and here we are today. Good, so they're nice and plump and juicy inside.
They're ridiculous.
A little pink.
They almost like souffle.
Yeah, right.
They do. They start right as soon as you hit the pan. Another thing, and there's distinctions. I mean, there's restaurants with chefs, and then there's restaurants with chefs that are actually cooking. I make this distinction all the time because there's a lot more restaurants with chefs who are either there's a name outside, or they're on the pass, or they're kind of in and out, and that's fine if you can get away with that. But I'm much more of a fan. I mean, chefs essentially are cooks that have gotten very good at it, and why shouldn't we then experience the craft from their hands?
Little pomegranate again for a little bitter. Or a little sour, should I say, and then some Parmesan sauce, which will make it really tasty, like you want to eat more.
Mayonnaise, olive oil spun, what is it?
It's like a fondue, like a little cheese sauce, made with just some egg yolk, little cream, little garlic.
So you're on this line almost all the time.
Yeah, I love to cook, and I feel strange not being in the kitchen. So it's nice to get behind the stove. And you understand the food more, you touch it, you taste it, and you can teach people and encourage them, and hopefully they're going to learn something and kind of support you, and it's just a great thing to do. Just peel off these. Okay, so you got to get the nice tender parts. So you can just take it off like this.
I got to ask you about the burger. It's one of the great burgers in town. No one wants
For some
proprietary.
reason, I knew you were going to ask.
I have to, because, and I actually, it was one of the last things I've had here. So how'd you come up with the mix? We don't need to know what it was. So you just played around with Lafreda, with what you wanted to go, or what you wanted in it?
Exactly. When I first moved to New York, I started off with one supplier, and it wasn't quite what I was looking for. And I knew what I wanted. I wanted it to cook like a steak. And so I just worked with Pat and Mark to try and get to something that I really, really liked. And so they would kind of add stuff and say, we've added a bit of brisket, or we've added a bit more
rib,
fat.
Bit more fat. It's right.
And so until we got it right. So thinly sliced fries on a mandolin, sliced garlic, rosemary, cooked to order. They don't take long, take like 3 minutes or something.
In the water briefly to get some of that starch off?
Yeah, exactly. And then the charred grilled burger. So it's very aromatic. The blue
You
cheese.
can smell it. It's rosemary, garlic. You can see that garlic in there, that
Nice
slice of
soft
garlic.
bun.
I'll tell you something. You order this burger, you don't finish those fries, check your pulse. You may not have one. This is so delicious. Yeah, this is this great beef carpaccio, beef fillet from Lafreda, great meat, seared off just on the outside, marinated in wine, seared off, then it's rare air. Chilled, cut by hand, spread it on the plate, not even pounded, just kind of spread a little, spread. Horseradish, cream, this looks like baby, April, what's the green on this?
Arugula.
It's arugula.
This is a special tonight.
Okay. Little salt, little pepper, little olive oil.
And some olive oil.
Yeah, the usual.
A little lemon.
The Bloomfield treatment.
Special tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a suet pastry.
Suet, beef suet, beef fat.
Beef fat.
That's the lipid, that's the
from
fat
around,
of the pastry,
yeah,
right?
from around the kidney.
The cleanest, whitest, most
Exactly.
beautiful fat there is.
That's mixed with flour, a little baking powder, and then underneath is some braised beef shoulder with some onions and lots of booze, so lots of Guinness.
Guinness stout.
Yes, exactly.
And instead of having the normal chimney, instead of the normal, you're using...
This is a bone marrow.
Bone
which
marrow.
will render out, it'll flavour the beef a little too. So this will take about 40 minutes.
In the oven.
In the oven. And this is for 2 people.
It's for 5 people in my book. But
This is spicy lentil salad with some tomato and ginger sauce with a little creme fraiche, which will cut through the spiciness and the heat. And then you got some texture from the parsnips. So we're just gonna let this rest. We're gonna put some lemon first. You know, that's to cut through the fat again, you know.
that's interesting. Because skirt steak's really marbled, really muscled, really
It's a lot
bloody.
more, it's a lot more marbled than hanger steak, you know. It's a lot more tender too. Some chili, you know, just spice it up a
Just
little.
give it a pop.
And then some olive oil, which will make it a little more elegant, you know. And these are roasted beets. They're golden and just red.
See, you've got that great thing. That's a lot of vegetables. I go to restaurants. Do you eat vegetables at home a lot? Now, I mean, I know you didn't as a kid, but I eat tons of them.
Yeah, I eat. I
And
love
in restaurants, I just
vegetables,
don't get them. So it's so neat to see. I mean, here's a skirt steak, and you're thinking carnivore dream. Oh, look at that. Wait.
And then we just put the juice back on like this.
Well, you can call it gastropub. You can call it whatever you want. I call this really, really freaking delicious.
Oh,
This
thanks.
is so my kind of place.
Little horseradish cream just on top.
Classic, kind of old school.
Little olive oil
Cilantro?
there. This is
No, I need
watercress.
glasses. Watercress.
All right, this is a roasted Jerusalem artichoke salad with escarole, toasted hazelnuts, and a seasoned goat cheese. And basically what we've done is we've just seasoned our sunchokes, made sort of like a dressing with the goat cheese, and gently folded in our escarole and toasted hazelnuts. Finished with some fresh olive oil, and again the seasoned goat cheese.
You've got one of the best chopped livers in town. Where'd that come from?
I don't know. I think
Your Jewish roots?
No. Some people think I'm Jewish because they say, you know, they say that it's so good. They always revert back to saying how their mom used to cook it or their grandmother used to cook it so well. I know. I just love chicken liver. I add a little bit of onion, which makes it nice and sweet. I add a little parsley so it kind of brightens it up. A little sweetness comes from some port and Madeira, and I just spread it on a really nice crispy toast with some olive oil. Yeah.
There's olive oil.
But there's nothing better than just, if you don't want a full meal, just go, you know, to a bar and having some well-seasoned, tasty, small plates.
That's how I fell in love with this place.
Yeah.
Was sitting here with these little tiny plates eating it. Because I mean, Russ and Daughters has great chopped liver. Barney Greengrass, great. Yours like in my top 4 chopped livers, and you're not a deli and you're not Jewish.
Are you
so-
saying I got to bottle it up and sell it?
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm just kidding.
That's Brussels sprouts. That's what I've been smelling for the last 20 minutes. How are you doing these?
Just butter until the butter kind of like clarifies.
Whole. Not blanched.
They are blanched
Thanks.
with a little salt, pepper.
In a pan, just foaming butter,
Yeah, exactly.
noisette, noir.
They take about 8 minutes. So we do that to order.
Now we should mention you're going to open another place. When?
May.
June. June.
May. I hope.
In this neighborhood, right between, it's just a few blocks north of here, right between Kraft Steak and Del Posto, in that building. What's it going to be?
It's going to be a fish restaurant, and it's going to be a little bit of pork thrown in because I can't keep away from the pork. So it's going to be
Fish and pork.
well, it's going to be clams with some nice pork or some ham, things like that. Smoke. I've got a smoker going in, so I'm going to smoke my own bacon and try and mix a little bit of fish with a bit of meat. But just like whole fish grilled, or just whole lobster, just very simply done with a bit of mayonnaise, or just whole roasted lobster.
Where'd this idea come from?
Me and Ken, yeah.
Something you've wanted to do for a while?
Yeah, I'm very excited about this project.
What's the name?
The John Dory.
Looking forward to the opening.
You should come to friends and family.
Please don't include me as press. It really makes that mistake. I'm not right. I spend a lot more time on the other side of those swinging doors than on this side. Well, we're going to trail you around tonight. You're going to do a little demo for us at some point. Thanks for coming to New York. Thanks for not being a copper, and thanks for all the great meals I've had here over the years.
Thank you very much.
All right, this is the last show of the season, and I just got lazy. I admit. I always cook at the end, but you know what? She's great. I love this place, and I'm thinking, I'm going to go home after the Spotted Pig, and I'm going to make what? I'm going to embarrass myself. So normally, back in my shows, I'm the one that does the cooking, but you're doing the cooking today. What do you have in mind, Chef?
Okay, well, I'm going to make one of the salads I was talking about earlier. I was saying that, I didn't eat salad when I was younger.
Well, you put a lot of mayonnaise-based dressings on.
Yeah, exactly. So now this one is just real punchy. It's some roasted pumpkin that I pre-roasted with some coriander, some chili, some salt, and I'm just going to put this into a bowl. So yeah, you can peel it or you don't have to peel it. This is a butternut squash, and I just finely ground some coriander, some chili, some marjoram and some garlic, and roasted it until it was nice and soft and a little sweet through the caramelization.
Right.
And then I'm going to add some lemon, because that will kind of balance out the sweetness, which will make the salad nice and zingy. And then I'm going to go some pine nuts that are lightly toasted, which will add texture, but not too much, because they get a little dull, And then just some olive oil. It's extra virgin. We put it in there just to, to make everything a little easier during service. And you just give it a light toss, like this. Give it a little taste. It's got a nice spice. I think it needs more salt.
Whose salt are you using? Sea salt?
Yeah,
Malden?
we're using the Malden salt from England. It's a lovely sea salt. We just kind of pop it on the plate. And the nice thing about this is you can just do it family style. If you want to just do a nice Thanksgiving salad or something, this is perfect, because pumpkins are in season at that time. A little more salt just to layer the arugula right there. Some lemon again to kind of lift the salad.
That's the acid, right?
Yeah, cut through that pepperiness. A little olive oil, and then just give this a light toss with the pumpkin flavour, and then just kind of layer it up. You kind of taste it. Okay.
But she's a chef. She tastes. When I see cooks in kitchens that don't taste, I'm thinking, how could you not taste?
That's just wrong.
That's the sin. That's as bad as the messy cutting board.
Okay, so then maybe put another couple of pieces of pumpkin on like this. It can look rustic.
No, this is Spotted Pig food.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very Italian in style, because it's not too many ingredients, but it's seasonal, which is really important. And then this is just some really young pecorino, which is made from sheep's milk, which will go nice with the pepperiness. That's
that great Roman cheese.
Just kind of throw that on there, maybe a bit more arugula, like this. And then just some balsamic, which will give it a nice zing, and some extra olive oil, because you can't have too much olive oil.
That's
right?
true. You can't have too much good olive oil. It's really pretty.
Good.
I mean, this is really typical of the food you get here, in that, 4 or 5 elements, 4 or 5 textures. Some lipids, some acids to counteract the lipids.
Definitely acid.
Some great green stuff here to sort of, give you that, you get a little bit of crunch, and also almost a little pepperiness from the arugula. So you have all these great flavors, and that really nice richness of the roasted squash, whatever it might have been, or squash that you're using. And I guess you get the nice texture too from the ground coriander, the sort of pastrami-esque crust on the outside.
And then you get the creaminess from the cheese. So you pretty much got everything there, apart from the bacon.
Cheese. Yeah, we couldn't. I was waiting for 2 big strips of bacon.
That's the next dish.
That's the next dish. All right.
You dribbled over my plate.
I'm sorry. What would Joel Robuchon think?
That's it.
Thank you. Next. Now, what are you making next?
Okay, next I'm going to make gnocchi. I'm going to pause there because I'm going to go to that.
Up.
Yeah.
Okay. Next course. I'm going to eat that salad in about 2 seconds.
Good.
You're famous here for your nudi gnocchi. Again, you've got it for someone that was on the other side of the Europe, that other side of the English Canal, you've got a great sense of Italian food. These are your homemade gnocchi.
These just made with some potato, a little bit of egg, and some flour. And so I'm just going to do it with a simple butter sauce and then some prosciutto that we've baked in the oven and then just finely ground. So I'm just going to, this is just on the paper.
On parchment.
Yeah, just so it's easy to come off. And we'll just wait and just till that kind of floats. Okay, so you just pull out the parchment and let the gnocchi fall off.
Smart.
Like this. And then we're just going to add some butter to the pan, maybe like a tablespoon. Just let that melt, and then maybe a little of the pasta water.
So it'll emulsify it.
Exactly. Yeah. And then we're just going to finely chop some chives, which we're going to add to the butter sauce, which will give it a nice bite, you know, because you haven't got much acid, so that will add a little bit of acid. And then some fennel frond. Ooh, don't want to burn my knife. And salt. Okay, so you just wait till they float. I think they're done. Yeah.
Because gnocchi are dumplings, ostensibly. I mean, it's a variation of a dumpling.
Exactly.
Once they're down and they're floated, they're cooked.
So just mix them up very lightly. No, these are overcooked. Just add a bit of cheese.
Parmesan?
Yeah, a little Parmesan. Yeah. Give them a little taste and then just put them in that bowl. So they're nice and fluffy. You know, they got nice herbs, the chives cut through. And then we're going to get some of the prosciutto, which is nice and fine.
So talk to me about this. Folks, take a look at this. I snuck some of this and I'm like, oh my gosh, how did you do this? This is prosciutto that you did what to?
Just baked in the oven. Just
cut paper thin.
Yeah.
Parchment or silpot.
Yeah, exactly. And then just bake it till it's crispy. And then more? Just in a pestle or mortar, or you can do it in a food processor. And then you just kind of sprinkle it and it gives it a nice kind of crisp bacon flavour. And then we're going to just finish it with some fresh Parmesan, which again will give it a little bite. And that's it.
You know, this is really great, this great stuff you did for the demo, because this is typical, really, of the food that I see here, because it's great, simple, perfect, easy balance, well thought out, not overly edited, not overly fussed over. But when you put it in your mouth, you just go, wow.
Yeah, just nice and punchy, simple and earthy.
Sometimes simple, sometimes not so simple. But
this is simple.
This one's simple. I told you to keep it simple for the demos. All right, the restaurant's The Spotted Pig. The chef is April Bloomfield. New York's lucky to have her. If you haven't been here, queue up. There's a line out the door. Starts around, 6 o'clock on any given night?
5:30.
Late afternoon's not bad. That's my suggestion. Come when Mike and the rest of the blue hairs are here. And the tourists, I find lots of...
And come for brunch.
Oh, if you can get in. Yeah. The brunch here is incredible, too. Well, good.
It's fun, though.
Good luck with the new place
Thank you very much.
The late fall, early summer.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Maybe we'll see you back next year with a camera and bother you then, too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Thank
April,
you
thanks.
Thank you very much.
Keep
It's
up the
been
great
a pleasure.
work. And one last thing, she cooks. Chefs out there, you guys are going home at 5 o'clock. Please, if your craft is cooking, spend some time in the kitchen. That's another reason I love you, because this place is great and you're there all the time.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
No, thank you.
I hope the food speaks for itself.
I'm going to eat one of these on camera if you don't mind.
No,
sorry, I can't resist.
I might have one too.
Have one too. Bon appetit.
Good. The herbs and
the gnocchi just melt, and yet they're rich. You could sort of feel the potato, get a sense of the body of them. Butter, herbs set it off, and then this crunchy prosciutto.
Yeah. Can't beat a bit of pork.
It's
all about the pork.
Can't beat a bit
You have to fit it in somewhere.
Yeah, I know. Well, again, thanks a lot, folks. Be well. See you next season. Till then, eat well often.